Welcome to the SEC, Texas. Wait. I'm working it out. We're all tied up in here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Shut up. Working it out. I'm sorry. Oh, we're making too much noise. Not sorry. If I knew it would stay there all day without making no noise, I would just leave it hanging there. But I know I'm finna hit it 72 times. Let me see. Yep, turn that down. Appreciate you. No echo. Ladies and gentlemen, the talking is over. The football has been played. All the things. Texas has 2 losses this year. What team? What teams? Oh, wait. It was only one team. Oh, well. Appreciate that. Y'all give it up for the Georgia Bulldogs one more again. I told y'all we were finna win that thing. When I tell y'all we were finna win that thing, we won that thing, then we won. Meanwhile, once again, I don't want to talk about the Falcons. They get on my nerves. Appreciate ya. I don't know if I can hold it together any longer. While I love celebrating my wins, I really don't care about that right now because there is so much fantasy goodness to get to. So with that being said, we 2.5 minutes in. It's time to get it in. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for the thing. It's your boy, the 7-1 in this thing. See? That's why I don't leave the chain on now. Because I'm too hyped. I can't even... I already hit the flow. Don't care. Because we're going to get right into this thing. It's playoff season. And public service announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, we made the playoffs. Everywhere. Y'all clap it up for the playoffs. Appreciate ya. In the OG special, we have been locked in for a couple weeks now. I am the 2 seed, and I got that first round bye. The win that I got this week didn't even matter, so we're going to go ahead and establish that real quick. Still won, by the way, 11-3. Appreciate ya. In the... That is the Sleeper app, just in case you were wondering. That is the Dynasty special. We got that 8 seed, baby. Y'all clap it up for that thing. We got that 8 seed. And I think that 1 seed is a little weak. Been sneaking by all year. And I'm gonna bust your ass. Get ready. And in the old 7 that do for your booskin, dude. I just got that next to my name. We got 1 playoff spot left. We got 3 people that have a mathematical shot to win said playoff spot. It is a win and you're in scenario for Kneecap Nibblers and No Demar 3. No Demar 3 is still one of the funniest names ever. Appreciate that. Kneecap Nibblers got that win the first go round, but they are 1 game back in the standings right now. So if they win that game, they will have the same record, they will have the sweep, and they will have the 6th seed in these playoffs. However, I said there was 3 teams mathematically. If somehow, some way, while Kneecap Nibblers got to win, Jersey Kid also has to win. And while she wins, she has to outscore Kneecap Nibblers by like 80 points in order to jump him for the points lead, because I want to say he beat her head to head. So the only way that, yeah, it's like 4% chance. I don't know. Like she has the smallest odds to make it. Really, it's up to Kneecap Nibblers and No Demar 3. If No Demar 3 just handle business, this doesn't matter. He's one game up on at least everybody, and he locked in. But if Kneecap Nibblers win, he should score enough points to make sure that it's him. All the scenarios. Y'all give it up for playoff scenarios one time. And now that we have gotten all that stuff discussed out of the way, we're going to get right into those platform superstars. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all welcome Josh Allen back to the front of the congregation. This dude is ridiculous. I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it right now. Josh Allen #1 on all platforms. That boy Josh Allen #1 on all platforms. Appreciate you. We're going to throw that up there first where... Appreciate you. You see Josh Allen. A cool 57.88 fantasy points. Let me read you the stats. 22 of 37, 342 yards and 3 tutties. That's passing. 10 carries, 82 yards, 3 tutties. That's rushing. You heard me correctly. That is 3 tutties in the air. 3 tutties on the ground in this thing. This is why we're going to keep clapping it up for Josh Allen, because he is firing off in that thing. Over here, it was worth a cool 57.88 fantasy points. That's the most fantasy points I ever seen in the history of fantasy football since I've been playing. Just want to go ahead and put that out. I saw Jamar Chase do 55 a couple of times. Whatever. It wasn't 57.88. So there you go. It's 57.88. Speaking of Jamar Chase, there you go. You know, if somebody's going to have a big game somewhere, Jamar Chase might be up in the mix. He had 1 carry for 14 yards. Shout out to all the wide receivers getting carries. Clap it up one more time for all the wide receivers getting carries. We're going to get to that. We going to get to that. Oh, my Lord. It's beautiful. Anyway, Jamar Chase, 1 carry, 14 yards. 18 targets, 14 catches, 177 yards, and 2 tutties in this thing. Appreciate that, Jamar Chase. Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, 22 of 28, 347 and 5 tutties, 4 carries, 7 yards against my Atlanta Falcons. And it doesn't surprise me that old Sammy D was in the place to be in Dirty Bird country, even though they was in Minnesota. But yeah, Atlanta ain't stopping nobody. They ain't stopping a nosebleed on a baby with a beach towel right now. Just saying. 43.58 cool old fantasy points for Sammy D over here in the sleeper app. Puka. If you'll notice on the screen, there is a little red circle next to Puka. That means he is on the squad. Appreciate you. Puka Nacua. That was probably my second biggest deal of the year because I gave up Jamar Chase in that deal. And that team that Jamar Chase is on also made the playoffs as the 2 seed. So that's okay. Where I'm positioned, I won't have to see him until the finals if I make it that far. And then finally, there is old Jordan Addison. 8 catches, 12 targets, 133 yards, and 3 tutties in this thing against my beautiful, wonderful Atlanta Falcons. Appreciate that. Y'all, slide on over with me to the old OG special, where you see Josh Allen one more again. I told you Josh Allen was #1 on all platforms. I'm just going to go ahead and spoil the surprise. Appreciate that. Y'all get up for Josh Allen one more again. We're going to clap up for Josh Allen a whole bunch of times. Jamar Chase, one more again. You know the stats. It's worth 45.1 over here. See, look at Josh Allen. 51.88, and it was just 57.88 in the that's plus 6 because he threw 3 touchdowns and they're worth 6 points over there versus being worth 4 points over here. Yeah. So there's that. Jamar Chase 45.1 in the thing. Puka 41.8 in this thing. Jordan Addison 39.3 in this thing. And that boy, Mr. Fill-In for the bone himself, Zach Charbonnet. Clap it up for that man in this thing. That's 22 carries. That's a $134. That's 2 tutties in this thing. That's 7 catches. That's 59 yards on 7 targets in this thing. That's 38.3 fantasy points. Appreciate that. On the OG special. Appreciate you. Look at. Excuse me. It's Josh Allen again. He got a cool 55.2. See, it's worth a little bit more over here. I don't know where the 2 points extra come from on the other side. I have to figure that out. Sam Darnold 40.6 over here. What does Sam Darnold have in the OG special? I'm just going to go back and look real fast. Oh, he wasn't in the top 5. Appreciate you. See, because quarterback's not friendly. But he is over here, 40.6. Zach Charbonnet, 33.9. Jordan Addison, 31.8. Jamar Chase, 31.5. Now, y'all looking over here like, why does Jordan Addison have more fantasy points than Jamar Chase? First of all, it's barely. It's by 0.3. And that is because touchdowns are what matters the most in the old Savvy Dabby Duke for you Booski Duke. It is a weird, really low PPR scoring system. That is because I don't want wide receivers to be so valuable. Go find you some other points. You'll have a lot of receivers over here scoring 4s and 3s, and they won't do much for you because you don't get 1 point for catching the ball, while the quarterbacks get nothing for making sure that you can. And while running backs get nothing for carrying the ball, but lose points for fumbling. You already know how I feel about that. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4. And Jamar Chase round on top 5, 31.5. Appreciate you. Y'all give it up for the platform superstars. Let's see if I can squeeze this thing on in here real fast. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to squeeze this. Where 155.77 to 106.25, you see it. And since I'm trying to squeeze it in fast, I ain't going to waste no time on this thing. We in the playoffs, 4-game winning streak. We got that 8 seed. I will show you the standings in just a second. But first, appreciate that. That should be my team. Russell Wilson, 15 completions, 158 yards, 2 tutties, 6 carries, 17 more yards. Let me see what we got going on over here. Yeah, I have to say the sacks over here because quarterbacks lose a quarter of a point for sacks. That's why they're relevant over here. Public service announcement, knowledge for the people. Saquon. It didn't look good at first for Saquon, and then it did. Because a little scrappy. I've been telling y'all about Carolina. They pulling up to the party, stopping people on defense. But not Saquon. 20 carries, 124 yards, and a 2-point conversion in this thing. No catches, though. 14.4 cool old fantasy points help me score. Appreciate you. Nick Chubb is I keep wanting to say wide receiver. Running back, 3. Joe Mixon was on bye. That will be fixed next week because no one's on bye anymore. It's full strength to the end of the year, baby. Puka. Appreciate that, Puka. Y'all already know the stats. I'm going to read them again. No, I get to read them all now. And I told y'all we would come back to this wide receivers getting carries thing. So Puka, 12 catches on 14 targets, 162 yards and a tutty. 5 carries, 16 yards, another tutty. 3 point something yards per carry. You mad at that? That's all round league average. Cool. But 5 carries, 12 catches, 14 targets. That's 19 opportunities. If you're gonna be getting 19 opportunities, how you not starting all the time? Anyways, Juwan Jennings. Appreciate that, Juwan Jennings. That is a cool 28-point outing from you, the new number 1 receiver in San Francisco. That is 7 catches, 90 yards, and 2 tutties in this thing. Appreciate you. Nick Ritzberger-Kine came back down to earth to the tune of 1 catch for 19 yards. We like those. Will Disley, I'm glad you got hurt because tight ends are starting to make me mad. I'm not glad you got hurt. That sounds harsh. But as soon as I pull up and want you to perform, you don't. Tight end is the position that I've been struggling at across all leagues. 2 catches, 19 yards. Thanks, Will. Xavier Worthy, 1 carry, 5 yards, 5 catches, 41 yards, 9.6 fantasy points. Appreciate that. Adding to the cause. Ray McLeod, 1 carry, 3 yards. There's receivers getting carries again. 1 carry, 3 yards. 8 catches, 98 yards. But he did lose a fumble. Otherwise, he could have had a better day at the office. 16.1 cool fantasy points in the thing for that boy. Jared Verse, 2 tackles, 1 solo, 1 assisted. Jack Campbell, appreciate that. B-Wags and was on a bye. He had 8 tackles, it says. 5 of them were assisted, 3 of them were solo, and he hit the quarterback once. Cooper DeJean had 5 tackles. I think all of them were solo. Yes. And he got an extra point for 1 tackle for loss to equal 155.77, to equal 4-game winning streak, to equal we snuck in the back door. I got that 8 seed in the playoffs, to equal I think my team's stronger than the 1 seed, so I think I might win the first round from game. Appreciate that. I'll rant about that in the rant. Probably the best rant of the year. Throw that thing up for old Tank. That I didn't start everybody, but I tanked because my name is Frank and I'm a Cody Crybaby. Appreciate you. If anybody in the league watched the pod, that should be funny to you. He gave me the win for real. Like, he ain't put no effort into it. James Cook on the bench, even though James Cook only scored 4 points, he still would have been in the lineup if that was my team. It looks like his better defensive players are on the bench. I don't know. He had a shot. He was 6-7 just like me. All he had to do was win. He probably would be in the spot that I'm in right now. But I guess he gave up for whatever the case, whatever the reason it is, and that's not your money no more, gang. Oh, well. But he still had Patrick Mahomes that started. Jordan Addison, Drake London. He had a nice little squad. Malik Neighbors. Dallas Goddard got a goose egg for him. But he had 3 people in his lineup with a bye, and he still scored 106 points. But that don't really have nothing to do with me. You didn't set your lineup and you didn't win. So now you're not in the playoffs. And since you have to win to get the number 1 seed, you're probably not going to pull back up to the party, which means you're not going to get that either. It's looking real good for my boy Jay to get that 1 seed because he looked like the strongest team in that thing down there. So we're going to see what y'all talking about in that thing. We're in the playoffs, though. So we got, for the next 3 weeks, I'm in the rant part, we're going to get through all the scenarios and break the whole thing down and see what happened for me to have to get to this thing. But first, we going to take that first break because might as well go ahead and get that out the way. I'm excited. I got a lot to talk about, but got to make sure I stay on this time schedule so I can edit this thing right. One more again, I ended up 7-7 after being 3-7, 500 record, 8 seed, playoffs. We looking good. We're strong. We back to full strength. We'll talk about that lineup later on. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we're not gonna waste no time. We're gonna get right into that thing because I got a lot to talk about on the back end, so I'm trying to get through this front end. I ain't gonna say necessarily as quick as possible, but I think you're moving too fast. I don't want to move too fast. Appreciate ya. Where? Locked in, shouting. Playoffs are here. 2 seed, bye week. I don't have no opponent next week. No one's the ops in the OG special because I got a bye week. But we got one more matchup to break down before we get into that thing. That boy Kevin came through. Stat correction, I got looking a little bit closer. So when we finished the game, it was said 109 because for some reason the fantasy app didn't give the Rams that touchdown that they got on that block punt. They didn't put it on their defense. I guess they gave it to the person, which is weird because it wasn't his. It was just part of a special teams thing. And so they stat corrected that. He ended up getting 6 more points. Can you imagine if someone started the Rams defense and they were losing by 4 when the game was over, and then they get 6 more points and they wake up to a victory? Imagine if you were the other team on the other side and you was like winning, you're in. I know that happened to somebody. Had to. Anyways, 126.12 to 115.36. It didn't matter. I was locked into the 2 seed anyway. Kevin had a chance to make the playoffs. His team did not pull up to the party. Let's talk about it right now. Bam. Appreciate you. Justin Herbert is getting a little bit more modest. This is the Northeast Drizzy test week. Since I don't have to play nobody, I can just put Drake May in the lineup and see what he does. So I told y'all Northeast Drizzy about me coming out and carrying me through the stretch of this playoffs. He just came off the bye week. He's going to be rested. Anyways, 13.72 fantasy points from Justin Herbert. Appreciate that. Kyron Williams always pulling up to the party. If I get this type of production from my running backs, Kyron Williams 23.7 and Tyrone Tracy with 19.3 fantasy points. And I still have those 3 top 10 receivers who will always get me double-digit fantasy points. We shouldn't have too much of a problem picking up victories on the way to the championship. Amon-Ra St. Sun God with a modest day at the office. That's because J-Mo went off. Hey, in the Olive Garden special, who's got J-Mo? Oh, it's me. Appreciate you. Top 10 Drizzy. I'm always going to clap it up the top 10 Drizzy. We're getting the fantasy points even though Kirk Cousins is trash. Ladies and gentlemen, he's trash. Right now, Kirk Cousins is trash. But top 10 Drizzy is still top 10 Drizzy. Appreciate you. TJ Hawkinson, you had a moderate day at the office. I want to say it was... The stats don't pull up exactly here, but it's 8.5 fantasy points in this thing. Against the Falcons, you should have went off and did more, but that's okay. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison made sure that we got popped off on pretty good. BTJ, baby. That's top 10 BTJ, by the way. Number 9, appreciate that. Number 3, Amon-Ra St. Sun God, wide receivers. Number 8, top 10 Drizzy. Appreciate you. Number 9, BTJ. Appreciate you. We're loaded at the position that matters the most in fantasy football. That Buccaneers defense against the Raiders did what it was supposed to do. Got 11 fantasy points. Appreciate that. Y'all clap it up for the Buccaneers defense. I'm really sad at the defense that I used on the other side, even though it didn't cost me the victory. Could have been worse for who I was playing. And kickers be kicking. Chris Boswell, Chris Boswell's taking that lineup. Cool, 11 fantasy points. Appreciate ya. To equal 126.12, to equal 11 and 3, to equal 2 seed, to equal bye week, to equal we parlaying through the first round, baby. Appreciate that. That boy Kevin started Caleb Williams. He was okay, but not great against that 49ers defense. He started the whole backfield in Tennessee against Jacksonville. One side that worked, one side of it did not work. I always fear stuff like that. I looked at it and I was like, usually doesn't work. Could, but usually doesn't work. Tyreek Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all get up and welcome that boy Tyreek back to the church. Because he was not scoring fantasy points for a cool 2.5 months. But 28.1, that's how you get it done. Appreciate you. Luckily for my boy right here, breadwinner, he had Jackson Smith and Jigba, who has been scoring all year. Y'all give it up for that man, JSN, for the win. Appreciate that. Trey McBride doesn't have any touchdowns this year. Is he going to Deontay Johnson us? He's going to have way more receptions. He needs to score next week. I don't want to hear about somebody else with 100 catches and no touchdowns. I ain't trying to hear it. Come on, Trey. Do your thing. Meanwhile, he still got 14 fantasy points. Appreciate you. He top 5 in fantasy, and he ain't got no touchdowns. Log that in your memory bank. Because Caleb Williams struggled, so did DJ Moore to the tune of 10.9 fantasy points, which isn't the worst day that you could have, but it is not the best day that you can have when you're going up against a good team. And we talked about that Rams stat correction. They should have been at, they were at -4. They should have been at this the whole time because they had got that touchdown. And kickers be kicking. That boy Brandon Aubrey got a cool 9 fantasy points in this thing to equal 115.36 to equal, I think Kevin's mathematically eliminated at this point. Whenever the OG special decides to update, we will know for sure because I've been waiting on that, and it's the only one that hasn't yet. So sometimes there's always one that takes its time. It's the OG special. To the tune of, you already know, we on that buy. We got strategy coming up. That's gonna be the rant of the day. On to the old we're in the playoffs. Appreciate you. Y'all clap it up for the playoffs one more again. Where we in the playoffs again. I know I said it twice. It's so nice I had to say it twice. Appreciate that. It was a close matchup though. I like games like this. I like games like this. 124.4 to 121.4. And that boy James still got a shot to make the playoffs. Also, I had to get my lick back. So since I've been winning all year, so I lost the first week to that boy ABCTE because Puka got hurt. This time I played and Puka did not get hurt. And guess what happened? Appreciate you. Although my team is different, I got Tim McCollum. Big deal. No big deal. Or Cortland Sutton. Anyways. Whatever. But they were on bye. No? Were they on bye? They weren't on bye that week. A sweep. Vernie. This week. Kneecap Nibblers. He beat me pretty good. He scored 100-something points on me the last time. He scored 100-something points on me this time. But this time I scored back. I scored 100-something points too. So, and my other 2 rematches I can't get because they were in that part of the season where I don't play those people twice. So, but I got my lick back on you. 124.4 to 121.4. 3-point thrilling victory because I was losing toward the end there. Let's go ahead and throw that thing on up there right about now. Appreciate you. Sammy D in the place to be. Sam D, baby. Y'all give it up for Sammy D. That's Sam Darnold. And Sam, we trust that quarterback for the rest of the season over here because he is putting up dubskis. If I go back and slide through this thing one time, I think that was Sam Darnold's fourth at least 20-point performance in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the fourth one, he doubled it up and got 40 on y'all ass. Appreciate you. That's Sammy D in the place to be. Appreciate you. Rashad White. Appreciate that, young man. Bucky Irvin got hurt probably like early in the second quarter, they said. It don't matter how the fantasy points get there. It just matters that they get there. We are not wishing injury on nobody, but somebody got to run the ball when the running backs get hurt. Appreciate that, Rashad White. Braylon Allen, I've picked him up for the fill-in. He split time with Isaiah Davis, yes, who scored the touchdown. But Braylon Allen still got a cool 8.5 fantasy points in this thing. Appreciate you. Puka. Puka, the number two receiver in fantasy this week on most boards. So appreciate that. But not this one. He's like number 4 because of how not friendly we are to receivers. J-Mo, 8.5 projected, 8.5 approved. It's almost like Mike Clay know what he doing. I say that all the time. Will Disley got hurt. I was mad. I didn't watch the game in full. But when I seen 1.2, I was upset. Now, somebody listened to some pods, and they told me he got hurt. And I was like, okay, that's acceptable. Because 1.2 would get you to a boot. He probably hit a boot anyway. Because I late picked up Jake Ferguson after he got 1.2 points over here. And Kyle Pitts got 1.1 on the bench. Gus Edwards. $10 fantasy points projected. 10 fantasy points approved. He doesn't really catch the ball that much. Although I think he had a couple. We'll take those 10 fantasy points for the victory. Appreciate ya. And that Cardinals defense did not pull up to the party. I didn't know. I wanted to say I knew it was a fluke. I didn't know. I got, but I won't again. Just know they won't be there next week. And kickers be kicking. That boy Will Riker is back. I did that for the Sammy D stack. I'll take 5 points from my kicker if I have his quarterback, and his quarterback gave me 40. So there you go. To equal 124.4, to equal 9-5, to equal 3 seed, to equal locked into the playoffs no matter what happens next week. Although there's scenarios where I could be in a better spot, so we still playing for something. We'll get into all that, like I said, on the backhand side. On his side, he started out the week with Jared Goff and Jake Bates. So he was at 36 points or something like that before we even got really going for real. I was looking for Amon-Ra St. Sun guy, but I forgot he said him, which almost worked out for you. The receivers that you played did get more. Excuse me. But I don't know if I could sit Amon-Ra St. Sun guy. I'll settle. Top 3. Shit. Shoot. Kyron Williams, we already talked about what Kyron Williams be doing. I don't celebrate it as hard when it's not on my team. Matter of fact, clap it up for that boy. And at the same time, while you're doing that, clap it up again for Aaron Jones. Appreciate you. Still came through with a cool 15.5 fantasy points, even though Sam Darnold threw 5 touchdowns. There was 1 rushing touchdown. No, Aaron Jones had a receiving touchdown. Yep. Malik Neighbors, 9.5. He has been just okay lately. Jerry Judy, 12.5. Back down to earth after he scored 40-something or whatever he did that other week. Dalton Kincaid, I don't know. Did Dalton Kincaid even play? I'm finna go look. Yeah, he didn't even play. I don't think James had time to switch him. So I ain't gonna give you too much Dalton Kincaid. Kamara got shut down by that Giants defense. The Saints scored 14 points. Derek Carr got hurt, but I think he got hurt toward the end of the game. So, yeah. the 49ers defense. Y'all know I be feeling real good about these defenses because they don't get the love and respect that they deserve in these streets. So appreciate that. Cool 15 fantasy point from the defense, and kickers be kicking. That boy Jake Bates be kicking. 11 fantasy points. That could lead you to a victory one day. Just not today, because I had to come get my leg back. Appreciate ya. All right, we are family, about to squeeze them lineups in real fast. And since I'm here, I'm going to start with a savvy-dabby-doop for ya booski. Doop. Throw it up on the screen. Appreciate ya. Sammy D in the place to be, locked in like a real OG. Yep. That's how that's going. You see Breece Hall up there. If Breece Hall is here, then Breece Hall is in the lineup. If he's not, then we will adjust accordingly. Can I tell how late / early it is? I'm yawning a lot. I gotta stop doing that. Mess around and make y'all tired. I don't want to do that. Rashad White locked in. I'd rather start with Rashad White over Gus Edwards, just because passing down work. Terry McLaurin locked in. Puka locked in. Jake Ferguson, the tight end that I have right now. Cortland Sutton locked in, and that Broncos defense against Anthony Richardson. That's going to be a telling story, because I got Anthony Richardson in Dynasty League. You'll see him in the lineup whenever I put that lineup up. And kickers be kicking world record for the quarterback stack, just in case Sam Darnold's not throwing touchdowns. On to the old OG special, where I don't really got to start a lineup. I'm just going to start a lineup because I can't not start a lineup. And Northeast Drizzy, get your roll on, Northeast Drizzy. Kyron Williams, Tyrone Tracy Jr., Amon-Ra St. Sun God. That is top 10 Drizzy. TJ Hawkinson, BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr., and once again, that Broncos defense for your boy. And kickers be kicking. Chris Boswell never coming out the lineup because bye weeks are over. This will probably be the lineup we'll see. You know, you make adjustments as like people get hurt or you think I'll match up better. If you stacked up like this, like I would want to play Quentin Johnston against Tampa Bay, but who I'm taking out? Right. And lastly, but not leastly, we're going to go to that where Anthony Richardson. Oh, wait. Appreciate you. Anthony Richardson. Back in this thing against the Broncos. He's been scoring 20 every week. He in the lineup. Saquon, you see it. Joe Mixon, you see it. Puka, Jawan Jennings, Xavier Legette, back in this thing. I took Xavier Legette out the lineup last week against Philly. It worked out. I don't know if Will Dissly might be hurt, so Kyle Pitts might be in right there. The tight end position hasn't really been helping me these last 4 wins, so I'll take whatever trickle little points come through there. If it ends up costing me, though, we're going to fight about it. Xavier Worthy against Cleveland and Nick Westbrook-Akine. I cannot find it in my heart to take you out the lineup, even though you only scored 2.9 fantasy points last week. Appreciate that. Nick Bosa's been hurt, so if it's not him, it'll be Jared Verse. B-Wags and Nick Cross back in this thing. Appreciate that. Because they are 2 of the highest scoring fantasy people on defense in fantasy. Right, and there are my lineups for the week. But yeah, boy. Appreciate you. One more break. One more time. Poopy doops. Playoff rant. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, baby. And you know what it's time for? We got one more segment. It's called the platform poopy pants. Let's see who didn't pull up to the party today, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know how I do. I don't make a list. I just slide through. Appreciate you. And we about to start sliding. Cool. Let's see who didn't pull up to the party this week. He started Tajay Spears. Tajay Spears didn't pull up to the party. 3.3 fantasy points. Appreciate you. Rams defense, 2 points. Didn't pull up to the party. Appreciate you. Wandale Robinson, 7.8. Didn't pull up to the party. TJ Hawkins, 4 catches, 45 yards. Didn't pull up to the party. I got double digits everywhere else. We good to go. Nick Westbrook King, 2.9. Didn't pull up to the party. Do better. Let's see here. Jaden Reed, 0.0 fantasy points for Jaden Reed. Didn't pull up to the party. Did not pull up to the party. That Vikings defense, even though they won by 3 touchdowns, 2 fantasy points, didn't pull up to the party. That Buffalo defense against the Rams. That Rams defense against Buffalo. I said that already. James Cook, 4.9 fantasy points, didn't pull up to the party. George Pickens was out. Doesn't count. Ladd McConkey was out. Dallas Goedert was out. Jake Ferguson, 6.2 fantasy points, didn't pull up to the party. Tyler Lockett, 0.0. That is a goose egg. Didn't pull up to the party. Yeah. Let's see here. There we go. Appreciate you. Travis Etienne, you might lose your job. I'm just saying. Yeah, you might lose your job, my boy. Nick Chubb, 4.8 fantasy points, didn't pull up to the party. Evan Ingram, 7.3. That's not pulling up to the party. Deebo Samuel on this list once again. For those of y'all, if you made the playoffs without and Deebo Samuel was in your lineup most of the time, kudos to you. But a lot of y'all didn't. Because he hasn't been pulling up to the party. I'm just saying. Like, that Arizona defense, we talked about that in the Saturday Day we do for you. Booski Doop didn't pull up to the party. Appreciate that. Let's see here now then. Yeah, DK Metcalf, 4 catches, 49 yards, didn't pull up to the party. Also, that's another one who's been a little lately. He's been a little. I mean, he's getting double digits. Like last week, 4 catches, 66 yards, but that's not on 9 targets. So you know, DK Metcalf been shaking me this year. He can go off, but then he can not go off. When he don't go off, it usually costs you. Blake Gruby, 0 points as a kicker. Didn't pull up to the party. Yeah, that's on you, my boy. AJ Brown didn't pull up to the party, but that is because Jalen Hurts only threw for 108 yards. And I think he threw touchdowns. Threw 2 touchdowns. Yeah, AJ Brown just had an off day. Marvin Harrison Jr., 4 catches, 49 yards, hasn't been pulling up to the party all year. My opinion. Look at Sam Laporta finally scoring some fantasy points. Ugly ass boy. Chad Ryland, 3 points. Kicker, didn't pull up to the party. Green Bay defense, 1 point, didn't pull up to the party. Everything else is good there. Bucky Irvin got hurt, but 2.8 didn't pull up to the party. T. Higgins, 4.3, didn't pull up to the party. Elijah Moore, 6.4, because I know how James was playing. Didn't pull up to the party. That Miami defense got goose egg, 0'd. Appreciate you. Kirk Cousins, 2 more interceptions, no more touchdowns, didn't pull up to the party. DeAndre Swift didn't pull up to the party. Keenan Allen, the Bears offense, didn't pull up to the party, except Roma Doomsday. Appreciate you. Looking. Travis Kelce, not 10 fantasy points, didn't pull up to the party. 4 catches, 51 yards. That Marquez Valdez-Scantling been going off. Didn't pull up to the party. I think I might have made it to the end. I can't find any more. You guys should be putting them in the comments if you see or if you hear me saying these names and I don't hit one of your boys that did you dirty this week. Just go ahead and throw his name in the comments and I'll stat correct myself next week. There you go. But I think I got all the poopy dupes. It's time to move all that crap out the way. Bruh, we in the playoffs, bruh. We in the playoffs. Y'all clap it up for being in the playoffs. Appreciate that. We in the playoffs. Everywhere. It's the first time ever I made the playoffs everywhere. I'm just saying. So, I'm just going to talk playoff scenarios. I'm going to use my last few minutes to talk playoff scenarios in all the leagues. So, we will start with the Sleeper app. I'm just the 8 seed. That's the scenario. I was the 11 seed before the week started. So, I needed to win, which would take care of one of the people in front of me because we had the same record. And then I needed 2 more people in front of me to lose. There was one guy that was 1 game up, but he scored less points. He could lose, and I'd be good. There's another guy who had the same record as me, but he was up more points. He needed to lose. I had 3. I want to say it was 3 of us that were 6 and 7. And so I won, and I needed 1 more of them to lose, and the 7 and 6 person could lose too. And he did, so he ended up with the same record as me, but I was ahead of him. And then 1 more person lost. So, like, it just bounced in my favor. And now we got this strong team sliding into these playoffs. We might pick this thing up. It might be a victory for your boy. That is the Sleeper app. Now, in the OG special, we've been locked in for a couple weeks, the 2 seed, bye, all that. The commissioner X-nated some folks for not paying their dues, so we are back to business over there. We chilling next week. We kicking our feet up. In the old Savvy Davy Duke for your Booski Dupe. Give it up one more time for making the playoffs in the Savvy Davy Duke for the Booski Dupe. That is 3 years in a row since so I've been with my wife now. We have been actively dating, I guess you could say, in each other's lives since 2020. 2020 was the last year that I didn't make the playoffs in my own league. So for 3 years now, 2021, 2022, 2023, and now 2024, I have been in playoff contention. My house is good, which means my fantasy is going to be good. So that all makes sense, right? Y'all clap it up for my wife. Y'all might not know wifey, but listen, that is the GOAT. That is the GOAT. I'm just saying. It don't get no better than that. Now, back to the Savvy Davy Dupe for your Booski Dupe. I've been sitting pretty solid, you know. I'm at currently the 3 seed, right? This week, when it first started, only 2 teams had locked up playoff spots. Now 5 teams have locked up playoff spots. But seeding is not locked in. Like the 6 seed's not locked in. Really, the 2 seed, 2 through 6 can move. And 6 not even locked in yet. But 5 people are in the playoffs. Like we know these 5 people will be here in some form or fashion. So right now I'm the 3 seed. The 2 seed is 1 game ahead of me right now, but we play each other next week. And I already beat him 1 time this year. So if I get the win next week in the old Saturday Davy Dupe for your Booski Dupe, that will be 2 first-round buys. So we still got stuff to play for over here. Like, there's no such thing as shutting it down. Like, my Olive Garden league, last year I had to buy in the Savvy Special, and I think my team scored like 149 points. For no reason, just against nobody. Well, buck 49. Appreciate that. We'll take that. Versus nobody. Didn't care. I made it to the championship. Last year around about this time in the Olive Garden League, I got on a roll. I think I scored 100, I want to say 140 points for the last 3 weeks. And the last week I scored 165. And that was after having like a 7-7 team. So like now I got an 11-3 team. It's all looking good, eating good in the neighbor. You know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like we having a good year over here, you know? Having a good year. And we like it. So, like I said, 2 seeds still in play in the Savvy League, 2 seed locked in the Olive Garden League, 8 seed locked in the Dynasty League. But we play it off. We play often. I'm still on y'all ass. Don't think I forgot. I never forget. We came to win titles, baby. We're gonna win titles, baby. Appreciate that. Appreciate every single last one of you. We in the journey now. We coming up on the end of this year. It's been a great year. Don't forget to spend time with your loved ones. Y'all see I got the Christmas hat on. One thing that I love about Christmas is it seemed to be the more family-oriented holiday, which is weird to me because you got to do all the presents and da-da-da-da, and that's stressful and all that, and I ain't trying to do none of that. I do buy presents, though. But anyways, make sure you cherish the time with your loved ones. None of us are going to be here forever. I wouldn't be who I am today on this podcast without you mother lovers. So I love you all so much. I appreciate that. Playoff push is here. We will keep you informed on what we finna be doing. As far as all that is concerned, this might be the time of the year where, yeah, see, now I ain't never had to keep up with this much in the postseason. So we're still going to have full shows throughout the end of this postseason because all 3 teams are still playing. And there's like different brackets. There's losers brackets for the winning circle. There's losers brackets for, there's all that. So I love you. I appreciate you. We playing off, locked in, every league. Let's go win this money. See y'all next week. Peace.